On the last few months on YouTube, we've seen tons of people surviving 100, 200, 300, 400 and even more days in Minecraft Hardcore. That's why I decided to join in. I survived 100 days in Minecraft Creative. I know you're wondering, what do you mean surviving in Creative? The only way to die is via commands or flying to the void. Well, I like building. So will I resist 100 days of building or will I jump into the void before getting there? We'll figure that out in this video. So I loaded up a new world and oh, Minecraft generation really did improve. I'm just kidding, I spent the first day in gamemode God doing the terraforming. As you can see, we have a simple island in the middle of the ocean with mountains on the back and a big plain in the front. I start up by drawing the roads and the main squares of the city, and I quickly make a map of the city later on Photoshop. So I decided to go for a Japanese city as a theme. From the day 4 to 17 I work on different models of houses and create the first neighborhood. I decided to go for a blue roof and very basic shapes for the houses with columns and very detailed walls. The houses are not connected, but they will be in the future. After that is done, on day 18 I start working on the largest building of the city, the Academy, which will take me 9 days to complete. It is a very big square building with a large garden in the middle. The building is being used as school and a library, and as you can see the building is pretty tall and symmetric, which means I only have to build a quarter and then I copied it to the other sides. I then started working on the palace. This is basically the town hall where the sovereign lives. This building is going to be next to a very large square I'm going to work later on. It's not a very large or tall building, but I believe it does the job and it shouldn't be taller than the temples anyway. And just after that, on day 32, I started working on the largest square of the city. This is where the city's market will be, so it's a very large square. I also had some houses at the borders of the square next to the palace, mostly by copying and pasting the models I made before. And I started working on a long building separating the square from the future harbor. I do not know what the exact purpose of that building could be, but it could be an indoor market or a warehouse. Alright, so I was building and I received a new mouse because my old mouse broke. I bought one of the best gaming mouses for PvP apparently. Let's get to unbox that. Alright, so there it is. It's very light. I'm not used to this kind of light mouse. That wasn't so satisfying. I plugged it in. Apparently this is one of the best mouse for drag clicking and clicking very fast, so let's try it at the fullest potential. On the day 36 I made some outdoor stalls and a house made of wood, which is where people will run their stalls, and added a little garden in front of the palace. In front of the palace I had a simple little garden to separate from the academy. Then I added more houses in the front of the academy near the coast and leveled the road so it's all on the same height. And I continued doing that till the harbor. With the harbor square flattened, I made a lighthouse using the base of an older house and increasing the height. On day 38 I built an artificial wall to protect the boats inside the harbor, just like in real life, and then added some docks. I also added a place where boats can be taken out of water and cleaned or repaired, and I'm not sure how it's called, but it looks like this. And after that I worked on 3 hangars for stocking merchandise, and on the right I made another house, which is where the sailors can rent a vessel or captains can recruit sailors. A new day has just started and it's time to add actual merchandise to the harbor, like boxes and woods, so it doesn't feel empty. I know I have to add ships, but I'm kinda lazy. We're now more than halfway through the project and I'm back at making houses. This time I'm trying to connect them by making a garden in the middle of the midi neighborhood, which I think looks very cool. I'm still copying the models of the houses I made before. I know I could make more models, but I think it isn't that big of a problem as they are all ordinary houses. It's time to work on the first temple of the city. I tried following real life pictures of temple, but I ended up creating my own versions, which I'm really proud of. As I mentioned before, this is going to be the tallest building of the city. And now from day 65 to 78 I'm back at placing houses at the last empty places of the city. So I'm going to go over this section quicker because it gets repetitive. Time to build 2 essential monuments for a Japanese city, the Torador and Pagoda. I placed the Torador on the last empty square of the city, decorating it with bushes and flowers, and then I placed the pagoda a few blocks back up on the hill next to the mountain. On day 82 I removed the trees from the last part of the plains which remained empty and placed a potato farm there. I know it should be rice as we're in Japan, but there's no rice plants in Minecraft, so just use imagination. After adding paths and bridges over the brooks, I worked on a forest on the hilly part above the potato farm and connected it with the streets of the city. On days 89 to 92, I made a farmhouse with breeding places for animals and wheat and wheat and what? I can't pronounce that. And wheat. Just after that, I added some fruit berry bushes on the front of the farmhouse and some vineyards next to the forest. We're almost done. On day 96, I decided to add lights to the squares and the fields. And now I have 50 minutes remaining, but I have no idea what I can do in under 50 minutes. As all things that come to my mind are going to be longer than that, I decided to do what any respectable builder would do, which is to AFK for the rest of the time. While I'm AFKing, may I direct your attention to the subscribe button. If it's red, please consider clicking it. This video took so much time and I really would be grateful for that. Thank you. And if it's grey, you're probably already too cool to handle. And there it is. I survived 100 days in Minecraft Creative. Now that I'm dead inside from the tiredness, enjoy the cinematic.